Hello everyone, and welcome to my Let's Play of Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader by Owlcat Games. This is the second episode in the series, although it is marked first because the actual first episode was character creation, which you should already be able to see in my playlist. The character is Conrad, an adept who previously was a mini-storm priest. Compared to the previous episode, I have made a small change. I have replaced my implants from the analytical implants, which provided additional critical hit chance, to subskin implants, which provide additional armor equal to the toughness bonus. The reason is that we have considerable toughness and we have absolutely garbage ballistic skill. So, I would rather survive a lot and be a support character than do actual cool shots and do critical hits. So, let us proceed. Okay, if you find bugs, please report them. Cool. I personally am not a major 40k lore buff. I know the fundamentals of the setting. I have played the tabletop RPG for Rogue Trader before, but I have not read almost any 40k novels. I've read Eisenhorn, and I think that's about it. So there is quite a bit that I do not know in details. Let us start. Choices in dialogue. You're in a dialogue. Here you can learn more about the current events of the game, change the attitude of the interlocutor, or decide the fate of entire planets. What will happen in this world depends on the lines you choose. Select a reply, click on the chosen sentence, and or press corresponding number on the keyboard. And we are talking to Mr. Konrad Voigtvier in an Imperium Cathedral of something. An excellent place for contemplation. The man who has approached you is gazing down into the depths of the vast temple on one of the lower decks. Okay, so we are already in space. One has the best view of the cathedral here. Mesmerizing, wouldn't you say? An impeccable manifestation of the God Emperor's sublimity. God Emperor, Emperor of mankind, Master of mankind. The ruler of the Imperium and savior of all mankind. Since this, compared to Rans, this is a very big game with a lot of characters. I am probably going to give everyone the same voice, with maybe trying to do female voice for female characters. But doing unique voice for everyone is well beyond my ability. So if they get confusing, I apologize in advance. Our choices. Truly an awe-inspiring sight. Frankly, such access can be tiring at times. While this ostentatious luxury, this laughable pretense, it is enough to make one think that the architects meant to compensate rather than glorify. Have we met? Do you have a particular reason for disturbing me? We are a priest, and we are going to be the Emperor's goodest boy. We are not going to be any sort of dangerous radical. So let's just go with truly an awe-inspiring sight. The man nods in satisfaction, as if your words have confirmed some thought he had. That is the purpose of all temples to the God Emperor, to inspire awe and reverence. For it is the duty of his servants to persevere in their tireless service until they are presented with a chance to give their very life for the master of humanity. He sighs and turns to you. Yes, we know about hyperlinks already. Allow me to introduce myself. Konrad Voigtvier, Master of Whispers in the employ of Her Ladyship Rogue Trader Theodora von Valanikos. At your service. I haven't had the pleasure of speaking with you in person before. Voigtvier bows his head and focuses his attention on you. Okay, so he's a spy master for the Rogue Trader. Got it. Rogue Trader. An imperial subject with a unique hereditary title, Rogue Trader is tasked with exploring and exploiting the still uncharted regions of the galaxy for the benefit of mankind. My name is Conrad, the Venerable Archdeacon Conrad. I have no intention of introducing myself. Dick responds, too full of yourself, although probably appropriate to our post. My name is Conrad. My regards, Conrad. Voigtvier looks you up and down with a thin smile. Or should I say, Konrad von Valanikos, scion of a blessed rogue trader house in the service of the Imperium. Perhaps this kinship came as a shock to you. Understandably so, given that all evidence of the connection was lost in the generation separating you and Lord Captain Theodora. It required no small effort on the part of Her Ladyship's servants to discover and verify this blood tie, which has now made you one of the heirs in this dynasty. Imperium. The galaxy-spanning interstellar human empire ruled by the living god who is known as the Emperor of Mankind. Unfortunately, he's not very living these days, which causes quite a bit of issue for the humanity. Lord Captain, this looks like we can just go down the list. Lord Captain, a strange title for the Lady Theodora. Such are the traditions of the Imperium. Lord Captain is the title that was established in the annals of the Lex Imperialis at the time when the first rogue traders entered the God Emperor's service, and therefore it is sacrosanct. Lex Imperialis, Codex of Imperium Laws. Why am I aboard this vessel? Why have I been brought here? So that you may fulfill your blood duty, Conrad. Whatever obligations you had before, they are henceforth null and void. By order of the Lord Captain, you have been requisitioned to serve a rogue trader in deeds blessed by the God Emperor. I see that you're shocked. Yes, you understood correctly. Lady Theodora's authority indeed supersedes that of those whom you obeyed before. The Lord Captain's power is so great that she is capable of performing unthinkable feats, such as changing the fate of a servant of the Imperium. Your fate. You have a curious title, Master of Whispers. What are your responsibilities? He's a spy master, come on man, figure it out. To put it plainly, I am the head of a network of spies and informers who serve the interests of House for the Hellenic. I uncover weak links both among Lady Theodora's retinue and in the ranks of her rivals. I eliminate our vulnerabilities and exploit those of others. Tell me about the one on whose ship I have found myself. I would rather not discuss the Lord Captain behind your back, especially not about her ship. No one knows better than I that whispers are wont to attract particularly close attention. Octavia laughs and shakes his head. Suffice it to say that her ladyship is the bearer of the sacred warrant of trade, and a woman of immense power and entitlement. However privileged your position may be, I ask that you do not incur her anger by being disrespectful or obtuse. Lady Theodora despises both qualities. Warrant of Trade, the sacred imperial relic document that affirms the preeminent rights of a rogue trader throughout the galaxy. You say I'm... Oh, wait, this one stayed here. Previous questions disappeared. You say I'm one of the rogue trader's heirs, and there is another candidate. Octavia shrugs slightly. There are, and you will meet them soon enough. I think you had some goal in mind when you decided to seek me out. Let us address it. But of course, I have come to invite you to a meeting with Lady Theodora. I imagine you have many questions for your patroness, and I am sure she has just as many questions for you. It is regrettable that you haven't yet had an opportunity to speak. It has been an arduous voyage thus far. The Lord Captain and Master Edelhard von Valenicus are conversing on the observation platform located in one of the wings of the officer's deck. Let us join them there. I shall accompany you. And off he goes. We have a new task in our journal, by the right of blood. Rogue trader Theodora von Valenicus desires to personally meet with the person recently brought aboard her flagship. The storm is brewing over the dynasty, so the Lord Captain has something important to share with her heir, if she'll ever get the chance. Curious phrasing, is something about to happen? We have 3 tabs, quests, rumors, and orders. Rumors and orders appear to be empty. And we're in the prologue. What else do we have? We have character tab. I guess this is our alignment in this game. Our choices are Imperialis, belief in the holiness and infallibility of the laws of the Imperium, adherence to the precepts of the God Emperor and the Holy Chosen Ones, carrying out his will to the unreasonable masses. Hatred to the enemies of mankind, be they traitors, heretics, xenos, or the servants of chaos. Hereticus. Devotion to the corruption and taint of the war, in the form of submission to the basest and darkest impulses of the soul, or as a consistent worship of the ancient gods of the immaterial. Okay. And Benevolentia. Belief in the value of human life and freedom. Faith in the power of goodwill capable of overcoming the horrors and dangers of this universe without artificial prohibitions. The desire to seek a common language and a compromise instead of uncompromising destruction. For the cowards who do not want to play by the rules of the settings. We have movement points, we have action points, we have stats. Yeah, amazing, we have stats. Very cool. Skills, we have a stab revolver as a weapon, which I guess lets us shoot it. We have our 2 features, study enemies and war hymn. Our doctrine is adept. We have reputation, so I guess there are 5 factions. Drusians are a like holy, religious mission in this sector. Explorators are Adeptus Mechanicus. Kasbalika mission look like maybe they are Psychos or Eldar? My guess would be Psychos. Fellowship of the Void look like pirates, and Imperial Navy is Imperial Navy. Kasbalika mission is one of the most successful crime syndicates in the Imperium, specializing in the smuggling and trade of illicit goods. Its specialty is the cold trade of forbidden Xenos artifacts. Vladimir Tokara is the official representative residing in Legis Palace on foot. I will read these as we come up on across the actions. Our inventory. We have only our stub pistol. We have a map. We have glossary, which immediately displays null here. And also the Imperium. Yeah, very cool. Good to know. We have our fancy ship, not enough gravitas. And we have cargo manager. But we have no cargo. Okay. So let's save the game. Okay. It takes quite a bit to save. Yeah, that is definitely a very 40k visual for an Imperial temple. Looking very, very nice. And, okay, I see. The crowd is entirely static, which is maybe how this good performance has been achieved. Okay, this guy looks like a navigator, would be my guess. This is the tech priest. This guy has a sword, and this guy has an icon. Okay, not sure what their deal would be. Okay, I see. If I right-click and hold, I can select the direction in which I want to turn, and if I just left-click, I can move there. We have an inspect button. Doesn't do anything so far.
A new challenge for me.
Interactable objects. Some objects in the game can be interacted with in a special way. They are marked with specific icons. Some will allow study objects, others will transfer the character to the neighboring locations or launch a small event. Click on the icon to get the action. Some interactive objects are not always marked with icons. Moreover, if the image has changed, the object is interactable. Yes, I have played Wrath of the Righteous and Kingmaker and other games. A massive conference table, obviously crafted from real wood, a resource of incredible value upon wood chip. Okay, and if I hold tab, I can highlight everything interactive. Very good. You, Ted Priest, tell me something cool. Layman interference with sacred mechanisms disturbs machine spirits. In the name of the Omnisire, refrain from further profane acts. So I am from a forge world. I am in no way a layman. Injitsia. The sacred mechanism has been tampered with, without due respect. The data processing cycle tripled. Okay, and you complain about the layman. Can I poke at the console? Yes. And it shows incomprehensible information is displayed on a large screen above the cogitators. You can make out mentions of unfamiliar systems and worlds among the numbers and logistical symbols. And if I mess with the other console? Yellow. I guess it just changes color. But, okay. Acolytes also complains about me being here. Rejoice. The Seneschal, they say, recently arranged a public scolding of senior officers. Again, I don't know what for, but let's be frank. Versarian can give you an earful for any slight. Okay, if I press space, we can pause. Cool.
I won't tolerate weakness.
Good for you. Thing. A candlelit altar with a copy of the 2348th volume of the Lex Imperialis, the Codex of the Sacred Laws of the Imperium. And a noble guest losing her shit before it. May his will strengthen my heart, may my humble deeds be for the benefit of mankind. Okay. Unrad, what's up? Unrad is waiting to start a cutscene. Master of Whispers, it's an emergency. The esteemed Lord Captain's pet has broken the bolts of the cage and escaped. What? How is that possible? Something. Okay. Okay, it is pretty... Blasted! Watch out, Conrad! A wild xenobeast held in a cage for amusement has escaped. The rampaging creature needs to be stopped. You have been ambushed. The battle begins. Started. Okay. Maybe... can you remove this? Radio weapon. Movement and combat. All battle in the game are okay, I see. It's a typo. It's not me losing my mind. Are turn-based. On their turn, the character can move, attack, and use their abilities. Select a position within the selected area and double-click LMB to move the character to the selected cell. Got it. Movement point determines how far a character can move on their turn. One movement point corresponds to one cell on the battlefield. Moving diagonally is more costly. Every second cell takes away 2 movement points. At the beginning of each turn, movement points are restored to their maximum value. The higher the character's agility, the more movement points you get. Got it. Our enemy is Yanusian Lacerals. Okay, if I right-click it now, I can get the description. And it has injury and flesh wound. An injury newly received from a trap or damage that is more than 50% of total wounds amount from a single attack. If not healed by a medkit, it will turn into an old injury. Too many injuries reduce resolve and cause a trauma. Okay. It has claws, it has bestial fury, which gets bonuses. It has somehow 30. It has better fellowship than I do. This freaking thing. The Yanusian Lacerals. Okay, well, let's see what we can do. We can shoot. We can use study at. You know what? Let's immediately use study enemies. I don't feel like I need to approach this thing. Is it within the firing range? Yeah, it is. Although we only have 40% shot chance. What about our him? It is. We want to be in a 5-cell radius. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want to be here.
I shall not fear.
Next, to attack, select single shot icon from the skill bar. Over the enemy, the pop-up bar will indicate the chance to hit and possible damage in case of a successful attack. Press LMB on the enemy to shoot. Damage depends on the parameters of the weapon. Abilities with the attack tag can only be used once per turn. If the character makes an attack, they can no longer attack and lose movement points until the start of their next turn. Okay, so you attack at the end of your move. Got it. Do not move after that. I don't really want that. I want to apply clue marks to this thing. Does it matter if does it do anything for us? No, it is just among the enemies. So let's go like this. We have studied enemies, we have applied 3 clues. Other actions and end of the turn. If you still have action points after the shot, you can use other abilities of the character that do not have the attack tag. When you are ready to end your turn, press space or end turn button at the bottom right of the screen. Got it. This is grants momentum, and they haven't explained yet what momentum is. So let's just shoot. Okay, now we have a 70% chance with all our fancy clues. Or maybe because I'm closer. But I push. Your character missed. To increase the chance to hit, equip your character with a quality weapon and place them at a vantage point. Abilities and talents that improve weapon skill characteristic will help you hit more often in close combat. Or improved marksmanship learn talents that increase perception and ballistic skill. Gotcha. And we cannot do anything else, unfortunately. I think our clues are supposed to help the bridge guards. Fantastic. I can scarcely believe it, on a day like this. What suspiciously poor timing for such an accident. A wild beast breaks free of the on the officer's deck, at exactly the same moment when the rock trader... Without taking his eyes off the dead beast, Voigtvier removes the Voxcaster from his belt and speaks a few quick orders into the device. Then he turns to you. I have blocked all passages between the upper and lower sectors of the residential decks. If this is a deliberate attack, it should stop the culprits from advancing them. Okay. Kunrad has decided to remain on the scene to investigate it. I need to go to the ordinary. Spread out. No one is allowed to enter the premises. Stations. At your service, Master Voigtvier. The lines on Voigtvier's forehead soften, and his voice regains its usual courtesy. I'm afraid I must remain here, Conrad, for Lady Theodore's safety. For Lady Theodore's safety, have to oversee the execution of these orders personally. I hope you will have no duty reaching the observation platform on your own. It's just at the end of this corridor. The Master of Whispers gives you a curveball. Oh, wow. Journal. You open the journal with J. Awesome. Yes. Tasks happen. We are going to the orrery. We cannot loot the body. There is another Yanusian Lacerax. Crystal. A violet alloy which, upon close examination, turns out to be a crafted object. Symbols carved with a primitive tool are visible on the surface. A black shard that resembles obsidian. If you look closely, you discern a strange, barely perceptible glow inside the artifact. Okay, they're repairing this cage. It looks pretty fixed to me. You don't need to keep hammering. Massive golden amalgam interspersed with sparkling particles. Is it? It looks like... Honestly, it looks like a rock. A bucket? The stone on the pedestal is no doubt solid, but its surface shimmers and changes hue, as if someone captured a piece of the choppy sea. If you say so.
A new challenge for me?
If I see you raise your head again, I'll hand you over to the tech priest for severizarization. Bad discipline. A strange object that resembles a pelagic coral. The porous surface is pitted, sign that it has been underwater.
I won't tolerate weakness.
Same bark. A grey-green crystal with white veins. A low hum can be heard coming from the article. Okay, a door. Do you guys have anything to say? The cage from which Theodore's pet escaped shows no obvious signs of damage. The cause of the creature's escape remains a mystery to you. Servant. The crew member is hard at work, bowing his head in fear and avoiding even looking at you. Your Grace, do not worry. All threats have been eliminated. It is absolutely safe here.
Victory
If you say so. Let's go. Okay. Okay, very fancy. You keep saying this line. What is behind the doors? Where do they lead? Where does the sunlight keep coming from? The Grand Voidship Temple occupies the entire space below the officer's deck, as lit by countless candles and lumen. Servitor. As you approach, something in the servitor's body begins to hum, as if in response to your presence. For a couple of seconds, the noise subsides. Which way are we supposed to go? Who knows? What is your duty? To serve the Emperor. What is Emperor's will? That we fight and die. What is death? It is our duty. Okay, lots of fancy cutscenes here. That is definitely rather different from the previous Albion games. The lifts carrying people around the decks move with a loud grinding noise. Where are we supposed to go before? Because I want to go the other way. Well, let's keep going down this corridor.
stand in my way.
I beg your pardon, Your Grace. After the incident with the beast that broke free, the passage is closed to everyone under the orders of the Archmillet.
New challenge for me?
Let's see what else is here. No passage. Oh. Okay, I guess we found the target. Adult hut. That is simply irrational, Lady Theodora, says the man dressed in peculiar garb, his voice tight with tension. His face, half of which is covered by thin skin, is twisted in a grimace of displeasure and disbelief. Assimilation to the trade structure would be political and economic suicide, practically an admission of heresy. I guess it would be this guy, Mr. Adult Hart, and Theodora with her fancy coat. The tall, grey-haired woman pins him with her gaze, her cybernetic eye flashing crimson. Then suggest an alternative that will satisfy me. I have described the situation. No worse than my seneschal could have done. Make a decision. What will you do with Aeon 6, Edelhard? Survey the room. Survey the room. I'm here to speak with the Lord Captain. Listen in silence. Let's survey the room. Your first impression of Edelhard, who appears to be about 30 years old, is of parchment-like skin stretched over a tightly bundled mass of sinew, implants, and bone. The nervously twitching fingers, the face twisted by a slight tick, and the jerky movements are all signs of some illness or defect that has taken over his physical form. Augmentation. A mechanical or electronic cybernetic substitute for biological limbs or organs. In stark contrast to Edelhard, Theodora von Valencia's features appear as if they were carved from marble, eternal and indestructible. Head raised high, proud posture, hands clasped casually behind her back. Everything seems to emphasize the difference in status between her and Edelhard. Behind the two of them, you see two more men. One is a grey-haired officer of impeccable bearing who is studying the contents of his data slate. The other is a behemoth bristling with holsters and baldricks containing all manner of weapons. Data slate, an electronic digital storage device similar to a tablet computer. Our second candidate has joined us. The dry female voice and the powerful feeling of being watched force you to look at Theodora. The rogue trader is looking straight at you, and her gaze, like herself, is predatory and oppressive. Conrad, approach and give me your answer. Passive skill checks. Character's skills reflect their current level of knowledge and abilities. Sometimes you can get additional information in dialogue if a passive skill check was successful. Skill checks use the character from the body with the highest value of the applicable ability. Consider this hypothetical situation. Aeon 6, a new world on the fringes of the Coronis Expanse. High seismic activity, regular magma eruptions, metamorphic rock deposits, prospects for large-scale mining. The world is populated by natives who worship some heretical, underworld spirits that protect those who offer them sacrifices. Flights of fancy, you might say, but attempts to install ore extractors have failed for the second time. The mining crew sent to the planet's surface simply vanished overnight. My question to you is, what would you do with this poisoned treasure? Oh, Zenos. Those spirits could well be the natives' name for dangerous aliens. I would first verify if that is indeed the case, and if population of Aeon 6 engages in xeno-worship. Low warp. There are ways to confirm whether what is happening on Aeon 6 is witchcraft or not. It might cost several psychers to do so, but it will give us the answer. The natives of Aeon 6 are lost souls in need of shepherd's crook, or a whip. I am a priest of the Ecclesiarchy. I know how to instill reverence for the Emperor. There are many ways. Those reports of spirits certainly sound like evidence of heresy. However, I would put my interests first. No matter what means I would have to use, the riches of Aeon 6 would be mine. Aeon 6 must be purged. For the good of the Imperium, I shall exterminate the heretical beliefs and otherworldly powers that rule the native apostates. I do not know. I am tempted to go with 3, but let's go with confirming whether it is witchcraft or not. Theodora smirks. Thorough, but presumptuous. It took me a great deal to find one psychic who could serve me well for many years, yet you speak of several. Psychic, an individual of any intelligent species, possesses some degree of psychic ability or powers. Edelhard looks at you with the warmth of a snake. Sentient psychers are rare and valuable instruments of the Golden Throne. Or do you, Conrad, suggest that we use heretics who are an offense to the God Emperor's light? It would be rather careless of you to utter such profanity in the presence of his faithful servants. Golden Throne of Terror. An arcane cybernetic artifact that encases God Emperor's physical remains entire and preserves them using stasis fields and psi-function reactors. Okay, so we are immediately getting fucked by politics. I see how it is. I gave a straight answer to a simple question, which, as I understand, was still more than you could do, Edelhard. We are both servants of the God Emperor and Lady Theodora. Does it become any one of our status to engage in petty feuds? I find your tone most disagreeable, Edelhard. You will kindly alter the manner in which you address me, or else you will live to regret the consequences. Shut your mouth, Edelhard, before I decide to shut it for you. Huh. Well, I don't think being diplomatic is going to get us any points here. I give a straight answer to a simple question. The color drains from Edelhard's face, which distorts his features further. Insolent, ignorant upstart! How dare you! Edelhard, Theodore's tone renders him silent. I believe I gave you an assignment on this ship. Explain to me, then, why my senior congregator is still dawdling about the officer's deck instead of proceeding to the middle decks to commence the inspection of the compartments in his purview. I beg your forgiveness, Lady Theodora. Your presence has such a profound effect on me that I well forgot the time. Edelhard bows ceremoniously and takes his leave without sparing you another look. I see we made a friend. How delightful. Theodora's gaze follows him as he leaves. Then she turns to you. So, Conrad, why are you here? Was it not you who sent for me? There are questions that I wish to have answered. I do not know just yet. I hope you will clarify that. I do not know just yet. Hope you will clarify. Theodora smiles wryly. Clarity. A luxury that few of us can afford. There is a reason why I did not explain all the details of the question I posed to you earlier. Beyond the borders of the Imperium, seldom is one granted an opportunity to enjoy information in abundance. This, however, is one such opportunity. My name is Theodora von Valancius Massimo of Scarus. I am a rogue trader in the service of the God Emperor of Humanity, and my rights and freedoms are vindicated by a most sacred relic, the warrant of trade kept aboard this very vessel. Mine is the honor to venture into the darkness beyond the Imperium, and carry humanity's light where powers wicked and heretical reign, and both death and ruin to us all. It is my decision alone to determine the fate of whatever I find past the bounds of the explored void. Every world I discover, along with all there is to find thereon, resources, people, riches, and mysteries, is mine by right. I command millions of lives, rule over numerous planets, and possess fortunes that no planetary governor or commander could dream of amassing. And you, Conrad, are one of those with the von Valancia's blood in their veins, and a rightful claim to this inheritance when the hour comes. I am ready to take on this great purpose. It is all too sudden for me. One of. Does this mean there are other heirs? Yeah, let's be inquisitive. Naturally. Some have yet to arrive on board, but you have had the pleasure of meeting one of them. Edelhard may be somewhat disconcerted by the scale of the responsibilities that may potentially fall upon his shoulders. However, I have a good feeling about him as a candidate. Blood right alone is not enough to earn the highest honor of becoming the bearer of a warrant of trade. Nonetheless, your abilities and talents may yet prove useful. If not for the role of Lord Captain, then that of their closest ally. Theodora signs and looks away pensively for a brief moment. Alas, even those responsibilities can at times be too challenging for those who share your blood. Conrad Poictier served me for many years before he made his mistake. If you're satisfied with... Okay, so, interesting. We did not proceed, we unlocked new options. If you're satisfied with Edelhard, then what sense is there in having this conversation? Why are you wasting your time on me? Did I hear you correctly? The Master of Whispers is related to you? Thank you for clarifying. May I ask my questions now? Well, clearly she's keeping her options open. Let's start with asking about Poictier. His kinship to me is most distant, as is yours. Nonetheless, he does bear the name von Valancius, even if he avoids using it publicly, and as such, strictly speaking, can be considered my heir. That door, however, is closed to him. Poictier's performance in his current role is satisfactory. Or it used to be, at least. If you're satisfied with Edelhard, then what sense is having this conversation? Theodora shakes her head. Okay. Oh, impatience. I am rather fond of impatient people. They are not as quick to resign themselves to circumstance, and more eager to show initiative. Even if I do choose Edelhard as my successor, I will still require loyal advisors. Thus, the skills and knowledge you acquired in your former life may prove invaluable here in the Corona's expanse. A priest of the Adeptus Ministorum. I never would have thought that someone of my house would become one. Spare me with the recital of your dogmas on humility and service. I am well aware that the ecclesiarchy is no less versed in matters of logistics than the headsplitters from the administratum. When your commercial interests are hidden behind a facade of concern for humanity's souls, any action you take will raise far fewer questions than it would otherwise. Okay, very, very cynical view. Adeptus Ministorum, the religious body of the Imperium, also known as the Ecclesiarchy, which venerates and promotes the worship of the Emperor of Mankind. Adeptus Administratum, the bureaucratic organization of the Imperium, responsible for laying ties, distributing imperial resources, and performing countless other administrative functions. Well, let's ask questions. Thank you for clarifying. May I ask my questions now? The vox affixed to Theodora's attire suddenly comes to life, but all you can hear is unintelligible noise. Theodora winces, shuts off the transmission, and gives you an imperious nod. I have some time before the navigator gives the signal to initiate the voice ship translation out of the warp, and my presence is required on the bridge. Vox, a piece of technology used to communicate over short distances or to record sound. Navigator, a sanctioned noble mutant whose genes allow them to safely guide the warp-capable void ship through the warp. Warp, an alternate dimension of pure energy and matters, existing as a mirror to real space, also known as the Immaterium, the Empyrean, the Ether, the Sea of Souls, or warp space. Navigator, translation, what are these things that you speak of? An incident took place on the officer's deck. A wild beast was roaming free and attacking anyone it ran into. Where is your ship headed? What are my current responsibilities? Gracious Lord Captain, surely there are ways I can prove myself a worthy heir? Try to butter her up. I feel like that would not work. A wild beast was roaming free. Is that so? I do keep a number of pets native to one of my planets on the officer's deck. Perhaps someone was careless during feeding time. Or it could be the warp playing tricks on us in spite of the gala field. Or perhaps our possessed ship was in the mood for a lark. Theodora laughs nonchalantly. The very head officer gives the rogue trader a look of cautious disapproval. Lady Theodora, for God Emperor's sake, surely you do not intend to start repeating idle rumors spread about my uneducated riffraff? Enough, Abelard. Such hearsay amuses me. Idira eagerly retells me everything she learns from the whispers of her unseen advisors. She turns to you. The ship is thousands of years old. It has enough hidden nooks, malfunctioning cogitators, and unused compartments to make ignorant folk speak of specters dwelling inside the bulkheads and plotting against those who yet live. Cogitator. Any type of digital computer in the Imperial movement. Navigator translation? Theodora shakes her head. Sometimes I forget that people without direct access to a ship's bridge may not know the first thing about how a void ship travels between the stars. Vessels such as this one are capable of leaving real space and traversing into the warp, an otherworldly dimension of cruel and unthinkable forces. By entering it under the protection of the Gala field, we shorten the route to our destination, crossing distances that would require hundreds of years in a matter of weeks instead, sometimes in days or even hours. That is how humanity spread across the galaxy. That is how we were able to build the Imperium, which spans millions of stars. Where is your ship headed? The Rykard system, the domain of rogue trade Winterscale, one of my peers, and rivals. Only 3 rogue traders exist in the Coronis Expanse, and each of them possesses resources comparable to mine. Perhaps you will one day seize House von Valencius in surpassing both of them in affluence and splendor. Coronis Expanse, a scattered, poorly explored region on the frontier of the Imperium, full of fearsome Xenos, treasure, hidden worlds, and the echoes of ancient doom. I set course for Rykard on the demand. Theodora grimaces. She gives you a stern look, then shrugs. For a very specific reason. Perhaps I shall yet apprise you of the purpose of this voyage, but now is not the time. I am not going to kiss her ass. What are my current responsibilities? Observe, learn, absorb. It will take time for you to find your bearings aboard this vessel and in your new position. Eventually, I will find a post that suits you as I did for Edelhart. Until that time comes, consider yourself my aide. I have no more questions. In that case, I shall head to... Theodora's voice awakens once more. This time you pick up shouting. The Lord Captain freezes, listening to the Voxcast, then nods and drops her weapon. Disturbance is reported on the adjacent decks. Seneschal, if the need arises, protect the new blood. She glances at you. It is possible that the chance to prove your worth may present itself sooner than you may have anticipated. Okay. I guess there is a sudden mutiny. Yes, the amount of coincidences definitely speaks of deliberate sabotage. You have been ambushed. The battle begins. And Theodora goes first. Theodora, Abelard.
Reduced to dust.
Okay.
I took care of this one.
Okay, clearly Abelard can handle these people. And Mort? Yeah, I think this is Mort. Okay, these are heretics. Heretic Cutthroat, and more Heretic Cutthroats. They should be shooting. Cover. Use cover to avoid enemy attacks. Covers to hide behind are marked with a shield or a shield with a skull. Standing close to them, the character will automatically take an advantageous position. In this case, the chance that enemy attacks will hit the cover and not the character behind them increases. The character will not receive bonus if attacked from a non-covered side. Understood. So, Theodora. Looks like you are... How do you... okay, I guess I cannot open your character sheet. Yeah, I am not allowed. Only for the Heretic Cutthroats. Got it. Well, they indicated that I should get the hell into cover. How about my study enemies? I can cover either these two or this group. Okay, this guy is, I guess, immune. Maybe because I do not see him. So I can do 3 or 2. Where is cover here? Hoarding tab does not highlight cover. Actually, it doesn't show me the cover anywhere here. Interesting. Huh. Yeah, I feel like it was supposed to be showing me cover. Is this turned off somewhere? Okay, I see this bugged out. It's a beta. The bugs are to be expected. Is there a show cover button somewhere? Difficulty controls. Highlight objects tab. Hold position, skip cutscene. No, nothing that shows you cover. Okay, guess we do not get to know what is cover and what is not. I have 6 movement points. Ideally, I would like to be in cover, but all of it is kind of bad. I think I am going to go here and try to kill one of these guys. Yes. Let's... Actually, is this one spell combat? No, it has a cooldown of 1 round. They still have not explained what momentum is, so let's not bother with it. Oh, this guy got all the clues, and this guy got none of the clues. Well, let's shoot him. Perhaps we get lucky. We do not get lucky. Too bad. Okay, thankfully they do not shoot it. This guy does. But he misses. That's fine. Okay, Theodora with a plasma gun. Okay. Dodges. Abelard has like a million attacks, I see. And Morch has a meltdown. Okay, In a world full of deadly dangers, the help of your allies can save your life. Look closer. Your character has received a temporary positive effect from a companion. To learn more about the effect, hover over the small icon next to the character's portrait. It is Kill Them. The target of this ability gains plus 50 ballistic skill to the end of combat. Okay, so my shooting skills are going to be infinitely worse once I am on my own. Oh, hey, the cover is back. Fancy. Is there any position in which I can see this guy? I don't think there is. No, he is always obscured for me. Okay, yeah. Okay, he is visible if I stand here. Let's try shooting him. Yes, 1 and 2, and we scored that 1 and 2 on 2 hits. Your character has just landed a critical hit that deals increased damage equal to the character's critical damage stat. Character's critical damage defaults to 150% of their normal damage. However, certain talents, effects, and abilities can increase it. Each weapon has its own critical damage stat, which is added to the character's total stat value during the attack. And we get Insight, which... right, it improves... 1 second. Okay, it increases damage against studied enemies. So, I guess this turn we can do study enemy. You know what, we'll do it next turn. This turn we can do a war him and improve our momentum, which we cannot spend in any way, I think. And done. Tutorial combat. They would have done it on their own just fine. Theodora waves her hand in a commanding gesture. Mort, take a team with you and clear a path to the transport line. Do not let a single horse survive. The rogue trader turns her eyes to you. Didn't bet an eye when that scum burst onto deck, hmm? Not bad. I have seen many notes who panicked at the sight of combat on the upper decks. The false sense of security makes them that much more susceptible to the harsh realities of warp transitions. She looks at the walks in her hand. All you can hear is lifeless static. What is happening? The incident with the beast on the officer's deck may be connected to what is transpiring now. What are your orders? Beast on the officer's deck. Possibly. Quite likely. Theodora winces and flicks the switch on her voice a few times. We'll investigate at a later time. Right now, we need to isolate the affected compartments and try to assess the situation. What is happening? From what I've seen, Conrad, I can speculate that we're dealing with some variety of warp methods. Seneschal is astonishingly calm for someone who just survived a sudden attack. Such episodes are not uncommon among voidsmen who have found themselves outside the boundaries of real space, though such episodes seldom spill onto other decks. Theodora clicks her voice a few times. The casters are not working, have been sabotaged. Either the warp is toying with us, or someone went to great lengths to cut this ship's communications. I will need a direct channel to the chief engineer before I can get a sense of what we're up against. Whatever it may be, keep your weapons at the ready. I imagine it will be some time before we no longer need them. Engineer, a tech priest whose specialization is the maintenance and repair of sacred machines. How could there be armed people in the ranks of the crew who would dare to attack the Lord Captain? What are your orders? Let's ask the question. The Seneschal gives you a gloomy look. Trust me, Conrad, this is hardly surprising for a crew of thousands. The lower decks are a fertile environment for discontent and heresy. No matter how one tries to incinerate any seed before it can take root, all it takes is a hint of warp influence to cloud the minds of normally obedient cattle. Sporadic riots on the lower decks never reach these compartments. Theodora's anger causes the Seneschal to shrink slightly. No, the tumults of the rebel are always contained within their own territory. This is too well organized. It is spreading too rapidly. What are your orders? She breaks eye contact with you. Mort has gone on ahead to clear a path for us. If you want to make yourself useful, go after him and see if the Archmilitant requires aid. Then be quick about it. Okay. The officer's deck is under attack by an unknown enemy, so the Arch-Militant Mord has left to clear the way to the elevator leading to the upper decks. The officer hasn't returned yet, so it's time to find out what has caused the delay. And this will be where we end our first episode. Tomorrow we will continue with finding Arch-Militant and seeing what he is up to. Yeah, so far it's a pretty cool game. I am enjoying it, even if my character is perhaps suboptimal. I have a tool that will allow me to check the status of the distant compartments that are out of the works contact, but we have to wait for Maud's results first. Yeah, I am enjoying it, and it seems like it will be a good time, so I will make at least a few more episodes, perhaps the entire Act 1 to 3. Thank you for watching, and have a good day. Goodbye.